This program is brought to you in part by SalCal Real Estate Connections. Welcome back to our second and final show from the Whalen Modified Tour race here up at Lime Rock Park. And as you could see, and as we left off last week, the cars were getting ready for the race, and the Hoosier Tire people really had their hands full, keeping everybody supplied with tires. And I was just kind of amazed at how they handle all this, you know, with all the cars and have everybody's tires ready for qualifying and for the race is really something special. And you know, the equipment they bring is just unbelievable. As you can see, it's really a big undertaking to take care of all these modified tour cars when they get ready to race. One thing we did pick up on is when these cars get ready to go through tech, they all have to have the same amount of air in the tires so they could be checked for height and different things. And but boy, I'll tell you, when it comes to race day and the actual race, I think that's probably a very guarded secret of what the tires are pumped up to. Well, as we left off last week, the cars were going through tech, and I don't mind telling you, this was really interesting to see how they check the width of the car. There's a certain tolerance that the car needs to be, and boy, I'll tell you, they don't fool around. They make sure that they're in that tolerance, and every car must do this before they could go out and qualify and race. And as you could see, this the people doing this really have done this probably in their sleep. That's how they know what to do. And then they go to different stages besides checking the width, and the tire pressure had to be maintained, like I had said in the beginning. You know, all four tires have to be a certain poundage in there. And then they're checking wheelbase here. As you could see, there's a gauge, and there's probably a little bit of a tolerance there too. But every event, they will check these cars 100%. And these gauges really look like they work well. And I'm sure that the competitors really have to pay attention to how they set this car up for this inspection. The next stop was to the weigh-in scale, which actually was a pretty elaborate system, as you could see. And every car had to get rolled up on there and weighed. And one thing we did notice, every time we tried to get over to that scale to see exactly what the car weighed, we got shooed away. I guess that's kind of a closely guarded secret too, and not for everybody's eyes. Well, when it came to qualifying, it was no surprise to us. Todd Zedecky put in the fastest lap, 53.902. Starting in the second spot, too, would be Ron Silk. Boy, I'll tell you, points lead was going to get a little shakedown today, as you can tell. Rick Rudolph in the number 98, the third fastest car. Really impressed. It was number 51, qualified fourth, Justin Bonsignor. As the pace car brought the cars around, you could tell they were cleaning off their tires and getting ready to do battle. Boy, I'll tell you, this field had a number of absolutely wonderful drivers and car crews, and let me tell you, this modified tour division is alive and well. As the green fell, it didn't take long for Doc Zedeke to jump out to the lead. And boy, I'll tell you, the action was fast and furious. As the modified tour cars got the green here, and boy, I'll tell you, they didn't waste any time trying to get around this track as quick as they can. As the cars settled down, it looked like Todd was moving away. Boy, I'll tell you, the action out there was getting better and better. As you can see, the cars really have taken to this Lime Rock track. And yeah, that's last year's winner, that number 52. And boy, he's starting to go around cars already. And 21. That was a competition yellow, and there was no hurry for these drivers and crews really to get the pit stop done. As you can see, everyone's kind of taking a very nonchalant attitude here to get things done that they wanted to do. I'm sure they were topping off the fuel and taking care of whatever, and maybe I'm not sure if they were doing tires too, but looks like they're working on this car, making a few adjustments, making sure the fuel is full. But as you can see, nobody's in a real hurry because everybody was a mandatory stop, and really no need to rush the job.
I can't gamble that the laps are going to run out, but somewhere right around 20 would be great. I'm not sure how that's going to happen. I mean, if you want me to close the stagger up, we can, but it looks to me like you're gaining, you're being able to go forward now with what you got.
As you can see, they're measuring the tires, I'm sure thinking about stagger and what happens once these tires get hot. Of course, things change, pressure goes up. It's quite a science to figure out what exactly everybody's using for a setup. As you can see, some cars started to get in the grid again, and
just over 3/4.
I'm not really sure why this mandatory stop was made. Maybe to avoid fuel stops during the race. I'm really not sure. Ron Silk's car is behind the number 4 car, and well, I'll tell you, from looking how he was running, he's going to be in the thick of things today. As the cars lined up on the grid, they were going to get the green here and go back out. And I'll tell you, Todd Zedeke looks like he's going to be the man to beat here. He was really looking good the first 20 laps of this race. Let me tell you, there's a lot of good cars in this race, and anything could happen. Just going to take the right timing, and hopefully will be no surprises in the end. Well, as the race resumed and the green fell, it was Todd Zettige and Ron Silk setting the pace. And I'll tell you, Rick Randolph, that number 98, always had him in their sights. And he was looking real good, too. Todd just looked tough all day, and yeah, that's Ron Silk and Rick Rudolph really in pursuit. Boy, I'll tell you, they never got him out of their sights. Ed Flimke in the number 10 was showing some strength early on, as he really knows how to get around this Lime Rock track also. Todd Zettige looked like he started to extend his lead over Ron. Boy, I'll tell you, the action was getting fast and furious out there. And yeah, the number 16 also was getting in the mix. This race is really becoming something special. Uh-oh, we got a problem with the number 33 car. As can't get out of that hole there. That's Wade Cole trying to move off the fence. We're going to have to go to a caution here to get this cleared up. Yes, the caution would finally come out here, and I'm going to have to get the car 33 off the course. But boy, I'll tell you, and Todd Zettige and Ron Silk and Rick Rudolph, they're in a class by themselves. But don't count out Mike Stefanik and these other people. Boy, they're very capable. I have to tell you, Ted Christopher at times looked like he was going to get in the mix too, along with Bobby Santos. You just knew that the caution and the combination of different things was going to bring out the yellow. And boy, let me tell you, once that yellow came out, then the pit stops started to happen. And yeah, Rowan Pennick and the 93's crew had work here. And boy, I'll tell you, they had a flawless pit stop. As you could see, everything just went like clockwork. Just a picture-perfect pit stop. And Rowan was starting to really do well out there, too. And I think the new tires are going to help him tremendously. Another pit stop was the number 4, Bobby Santos. And you could see everything here was going like clockwork, too. And Bobby was really starting to make some hay out there, too. Believe me, he drives for a great team, and he always does a great job with this car. The NASCAR officials even get in the act here. I look for Bobby to get this car on the move. When the action started, yeah, it was Zettige and Ron Silk going at it. Boy, I'll tell you, the pack was really bunched up, and things were getting tight. And the cars really, with new tires now, are really starting to make it happen. And yeah, the action is getting something else. As you can see, things are getting very crowded out there. And Uh-oh, we got a little mishap here, and boy, I'll tell you, there are some very, oh no, there's Ron Silk and Bobby Santos. There was some really great cars tied up in this melee, which is going to prove to be very fatal for some of these cars. As Ron had a slight point lead in the race, and from the looks of that car, it sure doesn't look good for him. Ron Silk's crew worked feverishly trying to get this car back on the track. And boy, I'll tell you, it had a lot of damage, and it didn't look good for the point leader of the series. He really had his hands tied up this race with that melee late in the race. Really a shame. Another car tied up in that melee was Bobby Santos in the number 4, and his crew too worked very hard trying to get the car back out there to gather up as many points as they could. But boy, I'll tell you, he had damage front and back, and sure he's going to have a chance to get this car out that track. Another car caught up in that accident was number 79, James Cervalli. And boy, I'll tell you, that car is really tore up. I don't even, a pit stop isn't going to help this car. Too bad, because the young man was really having a good day out there. And you hate to see that. It's just so much work to put these cars together. And boy, that crew's going to have their hand full this week getting that car back in shape. The stage was set. As you can see late in the race now, a lot of good cars have gone by the wayside, and boy, I'll tell you, when the action started, it was fast and furious again. And Todd Zettig really fighting to get back up in front and resume his lead, as these cars really are getting around this place unbelievably. Yeah, that number 52 was really going at it with Todd. And I'll tell you, Rowan Pennick and Mike Stefanik and Jason Bonsignor really are starting to look good, as you could tell. That number 51 running in 3rd place, and I'll tell you, that number 39 too, really doing a great job at Richie Pillai. I mean, there was some youngsters here really moving up. Yeah, Mike Stefanik looked like he was closing in for the kill, as Todd just wouldn't have no part of it though. And yeah, as you guessed it, Todd would win the race. Mike Stefanik coming in 2nd. I'll tell you, the surprise of the day is Justin Bonsignor, that number 51, really gave that car a ride. And Richie Pillai would finish 4th too. And yeah, to the victor goes the spoils, as Todd and Mike Stefanik and Justin really are going to enjoy themselves here on the podium. Todd drove just an absolute beautiful race, but I'll have to tell you, I'm very impressed with Mike Stefanik, as he really hung tough all day. And Justin Bonsignor, I'll tell you, this kid really impressed me today, along with Richie Pillai finishing 4th. They really have a great future with this modified tour series, and it's just a great thing to see these cars come up to Lime Rock and really put on a show like they did. As you could see, taking pictures and talking with the different sponsors, they really have a great time, and I have to tell you, these races have really caught my attention. This modified tour series is something special, and uh-oh, here goes the champagne. Boy, I was glad I wasn't too close to this podium, because I'm sure I would have got sprayed. But boy, all in all, it was just a great day to be here, and I have to tell you, the modified tour really put on a great show, and everybody really enjoyed themselves. Another feature at this event on this race weekend was the antique modifieds from the NEAR organization, which really was something special to see, as the modifieds, the vintage modifieds, took to the Lime Rock track to do some parade laps, and boy, I'll tell you, it just brought back time here to see some of these cars. This particular car here was driven by Don McTavish. It's always a pleasure to see that car at an event. But I'll tell you, all in all, the cars here were absolutely gorgeous, and it just added to the occasion on this mod tour, Whelen Mod Tour weekend. It's just an absolute wonderful thing. The NEAR organization really does an excellent job organizing these vintage modifieds, and it's just a great feeling to see them back on a racetrack or in an exhibit. It's always just a great time we have with talking with these people, as they usually know the history from the car, from the very beginning to the very end, the last day of race. And believe me, we hope they come up to Lime Rock in the future more often. As we show you some pictures of some of the antique modifieds that were at the event, we come to the conclusion of the show, and I hope everybody has enjoyed it as much as we have producing it. It has been one outstanding weekend here with the Mod Tour cars, as they always just put on a great show, and believe me, have a fan following that is second to none. And yeah, Buddy Krebs sure brings back some memories, and these antique mods really added to the occasion. I'll tell you, this Lime Rock track really has become something special to all of us. And I want to remind everybody that they need to come up here and see this firsthand, because it's really called a park, and believe me, they named it right, because it is a park. I want to thank our crew too for the outstanding job they always do. And we also want to thank Lime Rock Park, as they become an absolute wonderful host to all the events we come to up here. I hope in the future that these mod tour cars really get to come up here more often, and it's always a pleasure to talk to the mod tour drivers and crew. They're just absolutely great people. Please tune in next week on Racing Action Today. We want to thank R&M Recycling Incorporated in Britain, Connecticut for all their support and all the great things they do back at their yard. And also, we want to thank PBF, Pryor Brothers Race Cars in Berlin, Connecticut for all their support and all the wonderful things they do back at their shop. And last of all, we want to thank Mangelo's Wood-Fired Oven Pizza in Watertown for all the great things they do. Special thanks to the Race in Action Today crew, Dwayne Cody, Bill Majak, David Seidlinger, Lisa Backus, and Daniel Kahn. And also a special thanks to our home station, Nutmeg TV, for all their support.